Well, good evening to you all. Quickly, everyone, into your seats, settle in, spit spot. Welcome to the Darebin Arts and Entertainment Centre for Penley and Essendon Grammar School's production of Mary Poppins Jr. Penley and Essendon Grammar School would like to acknowledge the Wurundjeri Woi Wurrung people of the Kulin Nation, who are the traditional custodians of the land on which we gather. We pay our respects to their elders, past, present, and emerging. The show's duration is in approximately 60 minutes with no interval. I do hope you are all going to sit up straight in your seats and remember to turn off all mobile devices before the commencement of the show. And be warned that flash photography is strictly prohibited. And if you're wondering why this might be, please know that I never explain anything. Our cast has been working very hard to become perfectly practiced and practically perfect. You may have noticed that due to current restrictions, the theatre has a much smaller audience than our cast deserve. As such, please make sure you make enough noise for 4 people each when applauding, as I'm sure you will all feel inclined. I trust you will enjoy our performance, and remember, anything can happen if you let it.
But I feel what's to happen's all happened before. A father, a mother, a daughter, a son, the strings of their lives are unraveling undone. Something is needed to twist them as tight as a string you might use when you're flying a kite. Chim chimney, chim chim, chiree chim cheroo.
Those little beasts have run away from me for the last time.
And who gets stuck with the children with no nanny in the house? Me! That's who.
I've said my say, Mrs. Brill. I've done with this house forever.
Fine! Good riddance then. Mind you don't stumble on your way out.
Where's she going? What on earth am I going to say to Mr. Banks?
What is all this commotion? Precision and order is all that I ask. The running of the household, a straightforward task. The children, the servants, are all your domain, whilst I remain the sovereign of Cherry Tree Lane. Coat! Winifred, you've gained 6 nannies in the last 4 months, and they've all been unqualified disasters. A nanny should govern, a nanny should rule. A nanny is a paragon who suffers no fall. A nanny's a stalwart our children would gain by having such a nanny in Cherry Tree Lane. Briefcase! Hudson! Umbrella!
If only we could find someone like your old nanny.
Few women alive can manage Miss Andrews' standards of efficiency. Besides, we can never afford someone of her caliber. Now place an advertisement in the Times stating that Jane and Michael Banks require the best possible nanny at the lowest possible wage.
Father, we've written our own advertisement.
What on earth?
George, I think we should hear it.
If you want choice position. Have a cheery disposition. Rosy cheeks, no warts.
That's what I put in.
Play games, all sorts. You must be kind, you must be witty. Very sweet and fairly pretty.
Well, of all the ridiculous.
George, please.
Take us on outings, give us treats.
Sing songs, bring sweets.
We won't hide your spectacles so you can see.
Put toads in your bed or pepper in your tea.
Hurry, Nanny, many thanks.
Sincerely.
Jane.
And to Michael.
Thanks.
That's quite enough, Tommy Rot, for one day. Now will you please go to the nursery and let me get to work?
They were only trying to help.
It won't help anyone to make me late. Precision and order is all that I ask. The running of the household, the straightforward task. The children, the servants are all your domain. Whilst I remain the sovereign. Of Cherry Tree Lane.
Good morning.
Yes.
I've come in to answer to the advertisement.
What advertisement? We haven't placed any advertis.
Now let's see. Play games all sorts, which I most certainly can. Take us on outings, give us treats.
Michael, it's our advertisement.
Rosy cheeks and fairly pretty. There's no objection on that score, I hope?
No, none at all.
Glad to hear it.
But, take it up with Mrs. Banks. She manages all that side of things. Nothing domestic has anything to do with me. And remember, Winifred, don't forget the references!
I make it a rule never to give references.
Oh, I see.
I'll see the children now, thank you.
Of course. Well, you'll find they're very nice children. Now this is... Oh.
Mary Poppins. Jane, don't stare. And close your mouth, Michael. We are not codfish. Best foot forward, spit spot.
Mrs. Brill, we have a new nanny.
She passed her interview then.
Or I did.
Very tidy nursery, I must say. Tidier than I was expecting. Who's responsible for that?
Mrs.
Me.
I am. I like to keep things neat.
Do you indeed? Well, I look forward to making use of that. If there's one thing I appreciate, it's a child's word who I can depend on. Now, first things first. I always say the best place to hang a hat is on a hat stand.
There's nothing in it.
We better keep an eye on this one. She's tricky.
Mary Poppins, how could you have known what we wanted in a nanny when we made our list?
Your list? I'm not an item in the weekly shop, thank you very much.
Well, how did you come then? It was just the wind just blew you here.
It did. Now stand over there. Just as I thought, a noisy, mischievous, troublesome little boy.
You're making that up. Noisy.
Now you. Thoughtless, short-tempered, and untidy.
I don't believe you. Let me see. What about your measurement, Mary Poppins?
I'm practically perfect in every way.
Practically perfect.
So people say, each virtue virtually has no bound. Each it is great and patently sound. I'm practically perfect from head to toe. If I had a fault, it would never dare to show. I'm so practically perfect in every way. Now, perhaps you have a few questions?
Not temperamental,
Never.
not grouchy or gruff.
The very thought.
Will you stay tender when the going gets tough?
Quite the contrary.
Do you read stories without a big fuss?
Or have objections to playing with us?
Some minor improvements may not go amiss, but at all times you must remember this. I like games, but I choose them.
That's not fair!
I didn't say it was fair. I said I was practically perfect, and here's my aim. By the time I leave here, you both will be the same. You'll be practically perfect.
Practically perfect.
We will be practically perfect in every Now, come along, best foot forward.
Chim chimney, chim chimney, chim chim chiroo. I does what I likes and I likes what I do. Today I'm a screever, and as you can see, a screever's an artist of highest degree. And it's all me own work from me own memory. Stop, stay right where you are. I'd know that silhouette anywhere. Mary Poppins.
It's nice to see you, Bert.
Well, I must say you do look swell.
He can't know you. You've only just arrived.
I wasn't born 1 minute before I walked into your house, Michael Banks. Have you met these two, Bert?
I've seen him running about, chasing a kite.
It isn't a real kite.
So what are you up to?
Mary Poppins says it's a game. It's called A Walk in the Park.
Some game. I'd rather eat spinach.
Come along, Bert.
You can't come with us. You're too dirty, and we don't want to go to the stinky park anyway.
Oh, yes, you do. Because when you walk with Mary Poppins, you go to places you've never dreamed of. All that it takes is a spark. Then something as plain as a park becomes a wonderland. All you have to do is look anew, then you'll understand why it's a jolly holiday with Mary. Mary makes your heart so light.
Oh, really?
When the day is grey and ordinary, Mary makes the sun shine bright.
You do talk nonsense, Bert.
Oh, happiness is blooming all around her. The daffodils are smiling at the dark.
Faintest idea what...
When Mary holds your hand, you feel so grand. Your heart starts beating like a big brass band.
You've enough brass for all of us.
Oh, happiness is blooming all around her. No wonder that it's Mary that we love. Come on, you two.
Boring, just like other nannies thinking parks are good for us. It's just statues, ducks and grannies. I don't understand all the fuss.
Is she doing it to spite us?
We could lose her for a lot.
Perhaps it's all a plot.
I'll tell you what, she seems so different, but I bet she's not. There is nothing to excite us in the park.
What was that?
You're quite wrong, you know. When you take a walk with Mary, anything can happen.
Well, who are you?
I'm Nelius, and I've waited half a century to take a walk on a sunny day like this.
Each man out with his jolly holiday with Mary. No wonder that it's Mary that we love. Oh, let's go for a jolly summer. Mary makes the house so loud. When the day is grey and old to Mary, Mary makes the sunshine bright. Oh, happiness is moving all around now. Daffodils are smiling at the dawn. When Mary holds your hand, you feel so grand. Your heart starts beating like a big brass band. Oh, it's a jolly holiday with Mary. No wonder that it's Mary that we love.
Jane, did that really happen?
Yes, but how?
Mary Poppins, of course.
But how did you make it happen?
Anything can happen if you let it.
Mary Poppins, how long will you stay?
We'll see.
You won't leave us, will you, Mary Poppins?
I'll stay till the wind changes. Now, run along in.
Jane and Michael want to say goodnight.
Tell them you've given me the message.
George, please.
Oh, Daddy, we've had a fantastic day. We sang with the busker and danced with the statue. You would never prove
If you know that, then why would you do it?
Daddy, could I have a kite? A proper one?
Could you fly it?
You could always teach me.
When would I have the time to do that? Now you please let me get on. Good night.
Poor Michael. All he cares about is flying kites.
I used to love flying kites when I was his age, but my nanny, Miss Andrew, soon frightened it out of me.
Is it really out of the question to do without a nanny?
Don't be absurd. All the best people love nannies, so the wives can do the charity work and entertain. By the way, how's your tea party coming along?
I'm not sure. It seems so odd to send out invitations to people I hardly know.
But they're people you should know. Remember, by your friend shall ye be judged.
But that's the point. They're not my friends.
Winifred, dearest, I'm really thinking of you. Are you going to say something to Mary Poppins about this afternoon?
I don't think so.
Very well. Just make sure she's doing things our way, and not hers.
Winds do change, tides can turn, sink or swim, see what you learn. Me, I was told, when I was small, just learn a trade, so I learned more. Chim chimney, chim chim tree.
Mrs. Brill, what about the cake? Just out of the oven and too hot to be touched. Or iced, for that matter.
Are you quite sure you know how to ice it?
I'm quite sure, and in case you're worried, I've been exchanged by the fairies for a total nincompoop.
I'll just check the drawing room then.
I'd like to be helpful.
And I'd like to be rich. Destiny thought otherwise.
Mother wants you in the drawing room. She says you can tell Roberts and I what to do.
Did she indeed?
Please, Mrs. Brill, I don't mind. Honest.
Fine. I'll give you one task and one task only. Put the icing tools next to the cake. Do you think you can handle that?
Is that all?
For you, yes. For me, no. I swear a slave in ancient Rome was on a pleasure cruise compared to my life in this household.
Michael, why don't we make the icing?
Because we don't know how.
Don't be so feeble. Get the eggs and flour.
Are there eggs in icing?
There are in mine. Roberts and I, bring me the cake.
Mrs. Brill, go and get ready now.
What have you done? Oh, Roberts and I. Should we call a doctor? I don't think that will be necessary, ma'am.
Children, you know very well how important my party is. You deserve some very nasty medicine. Just you wait till bedtime.
Oh, I don't think we should wait till then, ma'am. Why not go up and get changed? We'll clear it up, won't we?
But we're not ill. I won't take it, and you can't make me.
In that, as in so many things, your information is faulty.
But-
Open.
It's strawberry ice.
Now you.
I'm not sure I like strawberry ice.
And I'm not sure I care. Open.
Lime cordial.
Michael, I know you like to keep things neat. Jane.
I told you she was tricky.
Must we? Can't Roberts and I do it when he wakes up? He is a servant.
With that attitude, you'll get through a lot of stuff before you're very old. Besides, in every job that must be done, there is an element of fun. You find the fun and snap. The job's a game, and every task you undertake becomes a piece of cake, a lark, a spree. It's very clear to see that a spoonful of sugar helps the medicine go down, the medicine go down, medicine go down. Just a spoonful of sugar helps the medicine go down in a most delightful way. Oh, my point exactly. The honeybees fetch the nectar from the flowers to the comb, never tire of ever buzzing to and fro, because they take a little nip from every flower that they sip, and hence they find their task is not a grind. For a spoonful of sugar helps the medicine go down, the medicine go down, medicine go down. Just a spoonful of sugar helps the medicine go down in the most delightful way. Rise yourselves, please. Six spots. Up we go, Roberts and I. Mary Poppins, you're a miracle worker. How did you do it? Just a spoonful of sugar helps the medicine go down, the medicine go down, medicine go down. Just a spoonful of sugar helps the medicine go down in the most delightful way, in the most delightful way. We'll be off now, ma'am. Come along, children. Let's move forward. Apparently these came this morning for you, ma'am. They're from your guests. They're not coming. Not one of them.
Oh, I think we chose the wrong day.
No, ma'am, I think you asked the wrong people. In the most delightful way.
Mary Poppins, where are we going today?
I thought we could play our next game.
What game?
A visit to the bank.
That's not a game. Did Daddy agree?
If he did, you must have put the idea into his head somehow.
What an impertinent thing to say. I mean, put ideas into other people's heads. Really.
Good morning. Banks, a word.
I see here Von Hustler's coming in again today. Have you made your decision?
I believe so, sir.
Good, good. Make sure it's the right one.
Hell, Banks, what objections can you have? My security is more than adequate and Latin American.
the expanding market. Have no courage.
Yes, Mr. Von Hustler. But what I'm failing to grasp is, what exactly is your final product?
What do you think? Money, of course.
Yes, making money out of money. But is that really enough?
Are you man enough to be a banker?
Have you made your choice yet, Mr. Banks? There is a town of good people here whose future depends on you.
I know that.
Give us this chance. I could have the factory up and running in weeks and expanding before the year's out. Please, Mr. Banks, I'll give it everything I've got.
I believe you, Mr. Northbrook, and I've tried to find a way. But how could I be sure the money would be safe?
With my workforce, don't you worry. The money will be safe. My men have dreams. To earn an honest living. A wife and kids, a home to call their own. If you'd invest in us today, it paves the way. I promise we'd repay the loan.
I'm sorry, Mr. Northbrook.
Hello, Daddy.
What on earth are you doing here? Can't you see I'm busy?
Oh, it's no worries. No man should be too busy for his own children. What are you here for, young man? Here for some money as well?
Hardly. What would they need money for?
It's never too early to learn its value.
I know the value of this. 6pence.
That's its worth. Its value is in how you spend it. Do good, and may I wish you good luck.
And what do you say to Mr. Northbrook?
Thank you.
I'll wait outside.
When I was a little boy, I would never have dared interrupt my father.
Were you ever a little boy?
Of course I was. And my nanny, Miss Andrew, kept me out of my father's way.
What about your mother?
I shouldn't think I saw either of them more than once a week.
Then who kissed you goodnight, Miss Andrew?
Of course not. There was no time for hugs and kisses and all that soppy nonsense.
Poor Daddy.
When you invest the bank's money, what are you looking for, Daddy? A good man or a good idea?
I suppose I should say a good idea, but a good man is much more valuable and much more rare.
Come along, children.
Mr. Von Hustler, I've considered your arguments, but I'm afraid my answer is no.
So you don't reckon that's a good idea?
Perhaps not, but I recognize a good man when I see one.
You've read this, the Banks!
A man with dreams that life hasn't broken. A man with hopes, ambitions to fulfill. A man you're certain at first glance deserves a chance. Now, Mr. Northbrook, when will the new factories be open?
Thank you, Mr. Banks, thank you.
There's that horrible old bird woman.
Don't point. And for your information, she's not the least horrible.
She's just a bundle of rags.
When will you learn to look past what you see? Each day to the steps of St. Paul's, the little old bird woman comes. In her own special way to the people she calls.
Come buy my bags full of crumbs. Come be the little birds, show them you care, and you'll be glad if you do. Their young ones are hungry, the nests are so bare. All it takes is tuppence from you. Feed the birds, tuppence a bag. Tuppence, tuppence, tuppence a bag.
Feed the birds, that's what she cries, while overhead her birds fill the skies. Here, one bag, please.
Now that we know the saints
simple and few. Listen, listen, she's calling to you.
Feed the birds, tuppence a bag, tuppence, tuppence, tuppence a
Hello, Bert.
Hello, Mary. Hello, kids.
Hello.
We're off to Mrs. Corey's talking shop. Care to join us?
Talking shop. Who's Mrs. Corey?
Who's Mrs. Corey? Mrs. Corey is older than anyone in the world. She talked to William before he went conquering, to Vlad before he went impaling, and to Alexander before he weren't so great.
That's impossible.
Anything can happen if you let it. Well, well, well. If it isn't Mary Poppins with Jane and Michael Banks.
She knows us.
And how is poor little Georgie?
Who?
Georgie Banks, your father. He used to give his nanny the slip and come into my shop here in a secret. Oh, I remember Georgie used to love my gingerbread stars. Now, Mary Poppins, what can I do for you? Well, I did want an ounce of conversations. I'm out of conversations, and I'm right out of words too. I do have some letters though. Now let's see, what words can we make? Rataplex.
Lepizzaferis.
Those don't count. You made them up.
And where do you think words came from in the first place? Somebody had to make them up. You know, we can always use the same letter more than once. Now let me see. Super, cali, fragilistic, expialidocious.
That's not a word.
Of course it's a word. And unless I'm very much mistaken, I think it's a rather useful one. When trying to express oneself, it's frankly quite absurd to leaf through lengthy lexicons to find the perfect word. A little spontaneity keeps conversation keen. You need to find a way to say precisely what you mean. Supercalifragilisticexpialidocious. Even though the sound of it is something quite atrocious, if you say it loud enough, you'll always sound precocious. Supercalifragilisticexpialidocious. Diddle little little diddle I. Diddle little little diddle I.
But it doesn't mean anything.
It can mean exactly what you want.
When Stone Age men were chatting, simply grunting would suffice.
And if they heard this word, they might have used it once or twice. I'm sure the Roman Empire only entered the abyss because those Latin scholars never had a word like this. Supercalifragilisticexpialidocious. If you say it softly, the effects can be hypnosis. Check your breath before you speak in case it's halitosis.
Yeah.
Supercalifragilisticexpialidocious.
You know you can say it backwards, which is so caught alive is a siligar for the creepus.
She may be tricky, but she's bloody good.
So when the cat has got your tongue, there's no need for dismay. Just summon up this word and then you've got a lot to say.
Pick out those 18 consonants, add 16 vowels as well, and put them in order, which is very hard to spell.
S-U-P-E-R C-A-L-I-F R-A-G-I-L I-S-T-I-C-E-X-B-I-A-L-I-D
O-C-I-O-U-S.
Smarty pants.
S-U-P-E-R C-A-L-I-F R-A-G-I-L I-S-T
S-T-I-C-E-X-P-I-A-L-I-D O-C-I-O-U-S S-U-P-E-R C-A-L-I-F R-A-G-I-L I-S-T-I-C-E-X-P-I-A-L-I-D O-C-I-O-U-S. Here we go! Supercalifragilisticexpialidocious. Even though it sounded like it's something quite atrocious, if you say it loud enough, you'll always have precocious.
Supercalifragilistic.
Supercalifragilistic. Expialidocious. Supercalifragilistic. Expialidocious.
George? Why on earth are you home so early? Is everything all right?
No, everything's all wrong. After I refused to lend the bank's money to some German chap, he went to our chief rivals. They gave him the money and now it looks like it's set to be a gold mine.
Well, they can't expect you to get it right every time.
That's exactly what they expect.
Supercalifragilisticexpialidocious. Even though
That
the
is
sound-
more than loud enough. Mary Poppins, you're supposed to be teaching these children manners, and just look at them.
George, you're tired. Mary Poppins, perhaps you could occupy the children in the nursery tonight.
That's not fair. Daddy loses his temper and we're shut up in the nursery. Daddy's mean and rotten and I hate him!
Jane! Take that back this instant. I will not have you criticize your father. Take the children upstairs, please, Mary Poppins. George, if you have troubles, I'd like to share them.
Don't worry, you will. I've been suspended without salary until the bank decides what to do with me.
Twists and turns, ups and downs. One moment smiles, next moment frowns. But bad-tempered faces had better change quick, 'cause if the wind changes, the face might just stick. Chim chimney, chim chim, cheree chim cheroo.
Why does Daddy get so cross?
Fathers are supposed to look after their children, not yell at them all the time.
Maybe, but you have to ask yourself, who looks after fathers when things go wrong?
The mothers, I suppose?
Not the children?
Wouldn't that be rather upside down?
Well, sometimes families are upside down. For a while anyway.
But I don't want an upside down family. I wish I could run away.
Why don't you?
You'd miss me.
No, I wouldn't.
That's quite enough, you two. Now into bed at once.
Oh, Mary Poppins, I wish you'd just leave us alone.
Be careful of the things you wish for.
Don't you ever stop?
You should govern your temper before your temper governs you.
I'm done with your stupid sayings and your stupid games.
Just get into bed.
I won't go to sleep, and you can't make me.
In that, as in so many things,
Your information.
is faulty. Playing the game, having a ball. Those who won't play shan't play at all. Will we meet again? Maybe when they've learned to play the game.
Up where the smoke is all billowed and curls, between pavement and stars as the chimney sweeps whirl. With this oddly no day, nor oddly no night. This thing's half in shadow and halfway in light. On the rooftops of London. Cool, what a sight.
Joining the sweeps tonight, are we?
Best view in the world, eh? Chim chimney, chim chimney, chim chim cheree. A sweep is as lucky can be. Chim chimney, chim chimney, chim chim cheroo.
Good luck will rub off when he shakes hands with you.
or blow me a kiss.
Bert.
And that's lucky too. Oh, so you're going then?
The wind has changed.
But they're good kids, Mary.
Would I be bothering with them if they weren't? But I can't help them if they won't let me.
So?
So they've got to do the next bit on their own. Cheerio, Bert. Keep an eye on them for me. Where's Mary Poppins?
Gone.
Gone?
Mrs. Brill, what does au revoir mean?
Why?
Because that's what she's written on the note. Dear Jane and Michael, keep playing the games. Au revoir, Mary Poppins.
It's French. It means till we meet again. Come inside before you catch your death. Now, come.
Nowhere is there more happy a crew than them what sing chim chim chiree chim chiroo. Chim chimney chim chim chiree chim chiroo.
As tidy as I can make it, ma'am. Since out for the past 6 weeks, I've had all the work to do looking after the children and taking care of the house, and I've got to get the house ready to welcome her back again.
If you knew how hard it was to track her down.
Really, ma'am? Fancy that.
Mrs. Brill, it is her, isn't it?
Well, I don't know who else.
The note says, till we meet again.
George, dear, you're going to be surprised.
Winifred, you know very well I hate surprises.
Oh, George, I do believe you're going to be proud of me. Hurry up, everybody. I want her to find everything. Spit, spot, spick, and span.
Spick and span.
Our sense of excitement is hard to contain. Order is returning. Wonder is returning.
Someone is returning to Cherry Tree Lane.
Good morning.
The Holy Terror!
Miss Andrew, it's so lovely to meet you at last. I do hope you had a good journey.
It was thoroughly unpleasant. Where did George go?
I'm afraid he had an urgent appointment.
It's not at your house, is it?
We like it.
It doesn't take much to keep you happy. Look at all the dust there and there. Now just wait a minute. You must be the children. Pity, I don't suppose you know who I am.
Yes, we do. You're the Holy Terror.
Impudence, boy. Why aren't you wearing stockings?
I don't like them.
What manners? I can see there's not a moment to lose. These children have been spoiled. I've arrived here just in time. By chance I brought the punishment that best befits the crime. Brimstone and treacle and carbolic soap, these are the tools of my trade. These sprinkles of sugar, you don't have a hope of seeing that changes are made. Open.
Does it taste as bad as it smells?
Worse. Open. Your son shall go to boarding school at once. As for the girl, I shall take charge of her myself. I won't stand for whining, or whinging, or whimpering, crying, or lying, or sobbing, or simpering. I fear it's clear that in these two such bad habits lie. Threaten to throttle, then uncork the bottle. Brimstone and treacle will wipe my room. I'm disappointed, I truly am. I thought it was going to be...
How with the umbrella?
What are we going to do?
The only thing we can do, run away.
What's the matter? And who's after you?
The nastiest nanny in the world.
Is she really as bad as all that?
She looks like something that would eat its young,
Miss Andrew was Daddy's nanny.
which explains a lot.
Poor Daddy. Ever since he stopped working, all he does is sit and mope. Mary Poppins used to say he needed our help, but it's too late now.
Oh, I wouldn't say that. Tell you what, how's about we start things off with a bit of a shake for good luck?
Why would shaking hands with you bring us luck?
Didn't anyone ever tell you? It's lucky to shake a chimney sweep's hand.
Michael, look, it's a real one. What's the matter? You've always wanted to fly a proper kite.
I've always wanted to fly one with Daddy.
Of course you have, but you need to know how it's done. Get some training in you, and you make him the proudest father in the old bloomin' empire. With tuppence for paper and string, you can have your own set of wings. With your feet on the ground, you're a bird in flight, with your fist holding tight to the string of your kite. Oh, let's go fly a kite up to the highest heights. Let's go fly a kite and send it soaring up to the atmosphere, up where the air is clear. Oh, let's go fly a kite. Reel it in!
I can't! It stopped!
I'll help!
You can do it. Pull one more time.
Don't squeeze. I'm not a sardine in a tin. And where are your coats?
We didn't have time to put them on.
Because I've run away.
Have you indeed?
Oh, it's been so awful since you went away, and now Miss Andrew's come, and Daddy's ruined, and we never helped him like you wanted us to, and...
Oh my eye, but your life's a tragedy. Now let's go home and don't dawdle.
But she's there. She came this morning as a surprise for Daddy.
Did she? Well, maybe I'll be a surprise for her. Hello, Bert.
Hello, Mary. You're a sight for sore eyes.
You really are. Welcome back, Mary Poppins.
Come along, children.
But aren't you going to shake hands with Bert for good luck?
I don't need any luck, thank you.
Not like that, you stupid boy. You stay there and clean the grates again. So, you've decided to come crawling back, have you? Who are you?
I'm Mary Poppins.
Mary Poppins. But you left without notice.
And I've come back without notice.
I see. What do you expect me to do?
Pack.
Pack! You insolent young person! How dare you speak to me this way? Brimstone and treacle, my favorite is liquor. That will make runaways stop. Impudent children respond so much quicker when forced to drink every last drop. I brought up their father, well that I don't doubt. You must be so proud at the way he turned out. A shining example, a pillar, a post. They all have their problems, but him more than most. I recognize fully that you are a bully.
stampede as a pack. Well, now here's the catch, because you fed your match. Brimstone and shriek, just a spoonful of sugar. Brimstone and shriek, just a spoonful of sugar. Brimstone and shriek, once. There, that's given her a taste for medicine.
Mary Poppins, wherever did you come from? She came from,
Michael,
Jane? Michael? You're very naughty to go running off like that, and I would be as angry as anything.
if I weren't so pleased to see you. Where's Miss Andrew? She's gone.
Gone? Why?
She didn't give a reason, ma'am.
Good evening, ma'am. We found this one wandering in the park. Good, ma'am.
George?
Where is she?
Miss Andrew? She left? George, Mary Poppins is back.
Is she? Well, I wonder if I might have a word. You see, things have not been going so well for us since you left, and...
About my wages, sir. If you don't mind, I won't take any just now. I should prefer to let them accrue.
But if you only knew how many payments were accruing as it is...
Now I must get started. Jane, Michael, spit spot.
Come along, darling. After so many years of good service, you've made a wrong decision. What's the worst that could happen?
Winifred, if I'm to be dismissed by the bank, we'll be destitute.
But we'll still have what really matters. The children and each other.
Is that locket new? What's inside it?
A portrait.
Whose?
You'll know when the time comes, and not before.
You won't leave us, will you, Mary Poppins?
I'll stay till the chain breaks.
Chain? What chain?
Let's wait and see.
Uncanny names are hard to find.
Unique yet weak, unspeakably kind.
You're practically perfect.
And yet I'm sure there's room for improvement. A few years more.
Hello, Bert.
Bert, what are you doing up here?
And where else would a chimney sweep be?
It's awfully big up here, isn't it?
And what does that tell you?
That we're awfully small and unimportant?
Oh, speak for yourself.
Not us so much, but our problems. They seem so big down in the nursery, but up here...
That's more like it. Your problems are never so bad when you look at them from a little higher up. Motley crew, smart guitar and crime. When you need a helping hand, try to step in, try to step in just in time. Over the rooftop, step in time. Step in time. Never need a reason, never need a rhyme. Over the rooftop, step in time. Kick your knees up, step in time. Kick your knees up, step in time. Never need a reason, never need a rhyme. Kick your knees up, step in time.
Childhood is a step in time, parenthood's the same.
Never miss a chance to get it right. Don't it seem a perfect crime? Don't it seem a shame? When the steps aren't going as smoothly as they might. That's when step in time. That's when step in time. Never need a reason, never need a rhyme. That's when step in time. Think you're elbow, step in time. Blink your elbow, step in time. Never need a reason, never need a rhyme. Blink your elbow, step in time. Kick your knees up, step in time. Kick your knees up, step in time. Never need a reason, never need a rhyme. Step in time. Step in time. Step. Never need a reason, never need a rhyme. Never need a reason, never need a rhyme. Step. Never need a reason if you step in time. And always remember, there's plenty of folk ready to help you should you need it. Back to the nursery.
Back to the nursery!
Back to the nursery, step in time. Back to the nursery, step in time. Never need a reason, never need a rhyme. Back to the nursery, step in time.
What is all this? What is all this? Special delivery?
Special delivery, step in time. Special delivery, step in time. Never need a reason, never need a rhyme. Special delivery, step in time. Time to go now. Good night, Governor.
Cheerio, Governor.
Not so fast, you. To the nursery, now. Jane, you too. Mary Poppins, would you be good enough to explain?
First of all, I'd like to make one thing clear.
Yes?
I never explain anything. Come along, children.
It's happened. The chairman wants to see me at the close of business tonight.
Tonight.
In just a few hours, I'll be joining the ranks of the unemployed. We might as well face it.
Are you quite sure?
Yes, quite sure. So I've been making some plans. Well, I never. So that's where I put them.
What are they?
Gingerbread stars I once hid from my nanny. When I was a little boy, I used to dream about learning all about the stars. Oh, funny, I haven't thought about that in all these years. I'm not usually sentimental.
It's good to look back sometimes.
It's that Poppins woman. She's responsible for all this.
I know the person. What's that thing she's always saying? A spoonful of sugar, that is all it takes. It changes bread and water into tea and cakes. A spoonful of sugar goes a long, long way. So have yourself an healthy helping every day. Well, good luck, Governor.
Thank you, Bert, and good luck to you too.
Daddy, do you remember when we came to the bank?
Yes?
Well, we're each given 6p and told to spend them carefully.
Excellent advice. What did you borrow of them?
Nothing yet. We've decided to give them to you.
I suppose that Poppins woman put you up to this.
She hasn't said a word about it.
We thought a little bit of extra cash might help loosen things up a little.
Good night, Daddy. We do love you, you know. Mummy, Daddy's really worried, isn't he?
He is. But just remember that he loves you very much, which is more important than jobs or houses or anything else.
Are you going to the bank with him?
I'd like to go, but I'm afraid it just isn't possible.
Mary Poppins says anything is possible.
Do you really believe that, Mary Poppins?
Anything can happen if you let it. Sometimes things are difficult, but you can bet it doesn't have to be so.
Changes can be made.
You can move a mountain if you use a larger spade.
Anything can happen, it's a marvel.
You can be a butterfly
Or just a larval. Stretch your mind beyond fantastic. Dreams are made of strong elastic.
Take some sound advice and don't forget it.
Anything can happen if you let it.
If you reach for the stars, all you get are the stars. But we found a whole new spin. If you
only tuppence a bag.
I would take it as a great favour if you would kindly feed me for me.
Thanks. You turned down a scheme that's bound to make millions, and we want to know why.
Then I'll tell you why. I refused to Mr. Von Hustler because his scheme was hollow. He mentioned assets, profits, and growth, but not a single word about people. I apologize for ruining the bank, but I don't apologize for learning that there are more important things than making money.
My dear chap, Von Hustler's scheme has ruined our rival the nastiest scandal since records began. We don't want your apology, we're offering ours.
Oh, my word.
And another thing, do you remember giving a loan to a fellow named Northbrook? Well, he's repaying it and opening 2 new factories with the percentage you negotiated. We look set to make a fortune. Yay!